G'day and welcome to Fraser Island, or Gary, whatever you prefer to call it. It is a magical place. When the weather's good up here, there's nothing like it. But it's even better when you can do it and glamping style in your caravan. Have a go at our setup here for 4 weeks. But how do you go, or can you? A lot of questions get asked, can you bring a caravan to Fraser Island? Well, the answer is pretty simple, and the proof is right there. The short answer is yes, you can bring your caravan to Fraser Island, but you do need to know what you're doing to get up here safely and to get up here without getting bogged. You don't want to end up on that Facebook page, I got bogged at Inskip Point, like many others do. In this video, I'll show you how we go about getting up here safely and without getting bogged. A little warning too, some images in this video may cause you to fall in love with Fraser Island. And a disclaimer that anything that is shown or said in this video, we can't guarantee that you're not going to fall in love with this place, and the tips that we give are only advice and how we go about towing up here. It's not how to, it's entirely up to you and what tyre pressures you run, your ability to drive on the beach, the conditions. There's a lot of variables. We won't be responsible if you do fall in love with Fraser Island, Kagari, or if you do get bogged at Inskip Point. It's a bit embarrassing if you drive all that way up the beach. Hopefully you don't get bogged trying to get into your campsite. No responsibility will be taken for any of the above. So the biggest thing with beach driving, especially in the soft sand, and especially when you're towing, even more so, is tyre pressures. We let ours down on the D-Max to 15 in the front, 20 in the back, and also 20 in the Caravan. And that makes them bag out just nice, take that weight and give you a bigger footprint in the soft sand. We've towed through there a couple of times now. Yes, we have been stuck like many others, but not fully bogged. It all comes down to tyre pressure and having that bigger footprint in your tyre. And even when you carry more weight, when we come over the other day at just under 6 tonne, now that we're living on the road full time, we've got everything with us, so we are heavy. Dropping those tyres down, it looks like they're nearly flat and running on the rims, but that's what gets you through Inskip Point. Cruising out the gravel track with low tyre pressures, pull up and engage 4 low and lock it in second gear. Then disengage your traction control system. You do not want that on, or you'll spin a wheel and lose power and end up bogged. Turn it off.
Brad.
Don't look in the mirror. The one that helps through the soft sand is turning off your electronic stability control on your Caravan, and also letting some pressure out of your airbags for more articulation. Woo-hoo! We didn't get bogged today. Not like the last time we come out, but we didn't get bogged. We only got stuck. Inskip Point. Still a line up the day after King's birthday long weekend. 2 barges running, and it won't be long. We'll be on Fraser Island, or Gary, if you prefer to call it that. I'll stick with Fraser Island. That's what I've known it as for 30 odd years. It'll always be Fraser to me. And also getting out to the barge, getting on the barge and off the barge, it can be soft there, so you do need to pick your tides. Ideally, and what we aim for, is getting on that barge about 2 hours before the low tide. That gives you a good run up the beach. It's about 70 k's where we are here in zone 6. It's about 70 k's from the barge. It takes you about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we just cruised up the other day doing about 50, 60 k's an hour all the way. When you're living this life or you're on holidays, what's the rush? You don't need to be doing 80 k's an hour, which is the speed limit on the beach. You don't need to be doing that and burning half a tank of fuel to get up here. So just take it easy and admire the views, especially when you got weather like this. There's a few up here. It's Saturday at the moment, I think. There's lots coming up for the weekend, so the beach is fairly busy today. And that's another thing when you're towing on the beach. Sometimes it's got a big camber in it if it's not too flat, and that all comes down to Mother Nature, what she wants to do with the wind and what sort of shape the beach is in. It was beautiful when we come up the other day. nice and flat, but since then we've had 3 or 4 days of northerlies, and now it's up and down like a yo-yo. So when you're towing, that van on your tow bar is doing that up and down the whole way. So you just want to cruise over them, and having lower tyre pressures helps take some of that impact out and not put all that pressure on your suspension, and more so on your tow bar. And you've seen the horror stories of it snapping vehicles in half because all their weight's behind the rear axle. Plus they go and put another 250 or 300 kilos on the tow ball or shed that load to your rear axle. It's no good for your chassis, and it's going to break something. So the tip is there, the big tip, just take it easy. Take it all in as you're cruising up the Eastern Beach, 75-mile beach, Fraser Island, Gari. Then once you get off the barge, we normally aim to pull up once we get around Hook Point. There's a good few Ks of fairly soft sand there at times. Pull up and pump those tyres back up. You don't want to be driving 60, 70, 80 kilometres up the beach with 20 pound, especially in your van tyres, but on the back of your tow vehicle, it's no good for your tyres over a long distance. So we stopped and pumped them back up to 35 in the back of the vehicle and 40 in the van, because once you're on that beach, it's like a highway. Hard packed sand, depending on the conditions, and they can change daily, just makes it a lot easier driving and a lot better on your fuel economy over a long distance. But then once you get to your campsite, we let them back down for that bit of soft sand, because you'd easily get bogged trying to pull through there with 40 pound in your tyres. Before you come, you do need to make sure you've got your beach permits in place and your camping permits. I can't remember what the exact figure is now. It's about $7.50 a night roughly, the national parks, state forest type camping fees. It's cheap, but your beach permit's about 50 something for a month. You must have that before you even think about coming out through Inskip Point, because there's a camera there now with number plate recognition. It'll send you a nice little fine in the mail if you haven't got your permit in place before you come through that camera. So make sure you have all your permits, including your camping fees and everything, paid up front, and you won't have an issue. And if you've taken it nice and easy cruising up the beach, you've made it up to your zone wherever you're booked in and going to camp, and I highly recommend Zone 6 if you've got a caravan. There's quite a few up here at the moment, just at the end of the Queensland and New South Wales school holidays. There's some nice big flat level areas all around here, and as well as having nice grassy fairly level areas, you've got nice easy access off of the beach. You don't have a big steep dune to try and drag 3 tonne of caravan up and over. This is the access off of the beach, which is about half tide out now. You got a nice little track straight up into the camps. No big dune to try and climb up and get bogged when you get here, and you just want to set up and enjoy like we are at the moment. Today's a lay day. It's so good. A little bit of breeze from the north. The water's a bit murky and dirty. The fishing's not real good, but the fish is a bonus anyway. When you're up here, you are just living the lifestyle. Whether you're coming for a weekend, a week, or a month like we are, when you get good weather like this, it doesn't get any better. But I would recommend, if you're going to be towing a van up here, I wouldn't put in the effort to get up here for just even a long weekend. That would be a bare minimum. I would tend to prefer to make it at least a week or 10 days as a bare minimum. 2 weeks would be ideal, and generally you'll get some good weather during that time, because as you know, if you've been up here before, the weather can turn overnight, and it's going to on us next week. Turn around and howl southeasterlies for a couple of days with a bit of wind and rain, and it makes it pretty uncomfortable when you're camping on the eastern beach. So you do need to make sure you're set up with big sand pegs, lots of ropes, everything's pegged down and secure, because you don't want to be up in the middle of the night when that weather change hits and everything starts flapping and wanting to blow away. So make sure you're prepared with plenty of big sand pegs. We use the big 500mm long ones, the big orange ones I think they are. You can get them from your camping shops. Make sure you've got a good supply of them to peg everything down, and make sure you're prepared before the bad weather hits. A good tip and a good thing that everyone should carry if they're going beach driving is a set of those, your Max Tracks. Last time we came up here 2 years ago, we did get a little bit stuck and we were able to get ourselves out with those. This year we didn't need them because we let the tyres right down. Wasn't going to risk getting bogged there at Inskip. So make sure you carry some Max Tracks with you, but if you're running the right tyre pressures, don't try and be a hero and run your tyres at 30 or 40 psi, because you will get stuck. There's all that weight in the van and your vehicle, and when that sand's like powder, you're going to go down and you're going to get stuck and need towed out once you're sitting on your belly. As well as your max tracks, make sure you carry the bare basics of a recovery kit, which is a heavy duty quality snatch strap and a couple of rated D shackles. Because you're towing a van, it's not just pulling the single vehicle out. You want a snatch strap of at least 10 tonne like we've got, and that's only been used once or twice to pull other people out. Not like most people these days. If you're bogged somewhere in soft sand, especially if you're towing, most people are just going to drive around you and not stop to help. But if somebody does pull up and offer to help, make sure you've got your own recovery gear, your snatch strap and your shackles, that you can pull out and say, hey mate, can you give us a tow? Toileting up here, you can still dig a hole for your toileting, but sooner or later you're going to have a cassette type toilet or a porta potty. Most vans these days have your full ensuite where you've got your cassette. Now just up the road at zone 6, another bonus of camping at zone 6, only 3 or 4 k's up the beach, there's 2 dump points there at Dundaborough in the campgrounds where you can take your cassettes and empty them out, so very convenient there. And also just to the south, about 3 k's, Cathedral Beach or the Cathedral Shops, they have a little bit of everything and anything that you would ever need. Yes, you're going to pay a bit more for it, it's island prices, and that's understandable because they've got to freight it all up here. We asked how much to fill a 9 kilo gas bottle the other day. As an example, what might cost you $30 at BCF or somewhere on the mainland, 60 something dollars up here to fill a 9 kilo gas bottle. So just make sure you're prepared for that, as well as your fuel prices are quite a bit more expensive than what they are on the mainland, as to be expected. Water, I would highly recommend leaving your tanks empty, especially for that run across Inskip Point, and there's plenty of beautiful crystal clear fresh clean water on the island here. You can get drinking water at most of the shops and service stations from Cathedrals, Eurong, Happy Valley and Orchid Beach. At the Dundaborough campground, just up the beach here, they've got a tap there where you can hook your hose on, you can fill the water tank in your vehicle or fill up your jerry cans and bring it back to your van and top them up. But what we've been doing for years, we've got the little sand filter where we can just pull up at one of the little freshwater creeks, pump that into the tank in the ute or either a water bladder in the back of the ute and transfer that into the van once we get back here. So it's nearly an endless supply of clean water for your shower and washing up water. I wouldn't drink that water out of the creeks, even though I have done in me coffee for many years, and there's nothing wrong with me because it's boiled first. Sand filtered, it doesn't get any cleaner. When you got weather like this, there is no shortage of sun up here for your solar. We've got no issues whatsoever. We have got the portable panel out as well, just catching everything that we can get at the moment. But once the sun goes down behind those dunes, which is anywhere from about 3:30 on, you do lose that sun. So don't count on getting full hours of sun if you're camping on a big dune like we are. And it comes up in the morning fairly early, but it's about 8-9 o'clock before you get decent solar on the panels on the roof of the van. That's where the portable one comes in handy. You can point it straight at the ocean and catch that sun as soon as it comes up, which the sunrises up here are just magnificent. It's so special being down the beach early in the morning and watching it come up out there over the horizon, especially if the fish are biting and you're catching a few. It does not get any better. So again, being prepared for the wind, we come up here, like we're here for 4 weeks, so we've got the full annex up. That just gives us some protection from that wind when it really picks up. And there's not many days up here where it doesn't blow. Occasionally you'll get it, but sooner or later we're going to cop some really bad weather, and we're all prepared with the annex on there for that wind when it does pick up. Being able to stay comfortable, yes, we can lock ourselves in the van, which has happened before on another trip where the weather was that bad. Come up for 10 days and 9 days of that was wind and rain. It just howled. So making sure you're prepared and can get out of that wind somehow so that you can stay comfortable and enjoy your time while you're here on the world's largest sand island. One thing I'll show you is inside, if you do bring your caravan up here, is the view from your window. We always try and get behind the dunes a little bit, but that's the view out the kitchen window out the bedroom window, and you can even look at the ocean while you're having a shower. Everyone should know that there's no pets, no dogs, no cats, no nothing allowed on Fraser Island, unless they're stuffed, like Goldie and Brownie. They're having a nice holiday. And yes, Mandy, they're not pretend. They're not pretend, Mandy.
Not pretend.
You can laze around, read a book, have a beer, go fishing, whatever you like to do. Such a great place, and it's even better if you can bring your caravan up here and do it without getting bogged and enjoy all this. How good is it? Now you might wonder why we've got a flag flying out the front. That's purely to mark our campsite. If we meet someone up the beach and say, yeah, we're 3 kilometres north of Cathedrals, or look out for the pink pirate flag, or in an emergency as well, if you need the ambulance in a hurry and you don't know exactly where you are, say look out for the pink pirate flag or whatever flag you're flying, and it gives them a bit of a landmark of what to look for and where you're camped. But I also use it as a wind gauge as well, so you can see which way the wind is blowing. At the moment it's blowing from the north up the beach, and it's probably blowing about 10 to 15 knots. If the flag's hanging down around the pole, there's 0 wind in the morning, and that's perfect time for fishing. That's when I'm normally down the beach, just on daylight, to watch those sunrises. If the flag's, oh, like that, the wind dropped there for a minute. If the flag's blowing flat out and you can see it's all ripped on the end, that was from our last trip up here where it was blowing about 20 or 30 knots every day. Super uncomfortable. There wasn't a lot of fishing, but it just helps having that flag, like I said, as a landmark and to know which way the wind's blowing. But if you're going to fly a flag, make sure that it's something unique. Don't use an Australian flag. If you do need emergency services to come and find you and say, yeah, we're so many kilometres up the beach, look for the Australian flag, and they come looking for you, and there's 20 Australian flags up and down the beach. Try and pick something unique, something that's yours, something out of the ordinary, like a pink pirate flag. And just be aware too, there is next to 0 phone service up here. You do get a little bit, it's very patchy, but you do get some phone service around Eurong, Happy Valley, around the top side, the northern side of Indian Head, Orchid Beach. But up and down the main eastern beach, the phone service is very limited. So for those emergency communications and to watch Netflix of a night time, the Starlink comes in very handy. So then when it's time to pack up and go, and it's a sad day when you need to leave this place, it breaks my heart every time we drive away from Fraser Island. But it's just the reverse of what you did to get up here. Running those pressures down the beach. Once we hit the barge, we'll let them back down to about 15, 20, all around, depending on the conditions of Inskip Point. If we've had any rain, you don't need to go that low because the sand's a bit more hard packed. But when it's loose and dry, and especially if you're traveling through there in the middle of the day and it's bottomless powder, make sure you go low on your tyre pressures. And we drop them as we're in the line up for the barge, so that you can drive straight off the barge and hopefully make it straight through Inskip Point and get back up to the bitumen, where you can air up and put full road pressure back in your tyres. It's as simple as that, just the reverse of what you did to get here. Tune into our next video and make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss it on us doing 4 weeks on Fraser Island. This is living. See you in the next video, guys. It's time to enjoy this. Thanks for watching, and thanks for all your support. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask the question in the comments, and we'll get back to you and hopefully answer your questions with bringing your caravan to Fraser Island.